Hey everybody, Bacon here. So the last Hearthstone season of 2016 just finished, and I want to talk to you all about what I could see going on in the meta while everyone was grinding for their top 100 finishes. Looking at people's deck choices on the last day of a season is really when you can see what the top players consider strong. The stakes are highest at this point, and no one's really messing around. No one's playing troll decks. No one's, trying to be funny. This is the most serious Hearthstone you can get outside of a tournament format. So, the most interesting thing I saw on the final few days that I'd like to take note of is the emergence of a circular meta, something that we hadn't had in Hearthstone for a while. Before Mean Streets, the meta was built around mid range Shaman and Mali Druid, with everything else being a response to those two decks. In the current expansion, there's no single deck that's as oppressive as either of those, and because of that, we get a circular meta game that I was talking about. The circular meta that we see in Hearthstone right now has been developing over the past month since launch, but it became very evident in the final few days of the season. Jade Druid came into the expansion looking really strong and got a lot of experimentation in the first few days, but this was crushed by aggro strategies like Pirate Warrior and Aggro Shaman. Reno Warlock popped up in response to the aggro decks, but had a poor matchup against the Jade and Coon combo druids. Rogue then comes in because it's favored against both Reno, Warlock, and Druid, but even with the addition of the Pirate package, Rogue still suffers a little bit against aggro, actually quite a bit against aggro. And finally, Reno Mage shows up and takes over the position as the dominant Reno deck, having an even stronger matchup against aggro than Warlock does, and also massive amounts of value generation through things like Brand, Discover combos, and Kabbalist Tome. The one thing that Reno Mage doesn't have, though, is the Warlock's 20 damage combo, or turn 4 8/8s, that creates a window for Jade Druid to come back, and the cycle starts repeating itself. So that's sort of like the circular meta we have. All the decks in this circular meta are good enough to be used on their own, and they're also capable of being taken to high legend ranks. But to get sort of an amazing win rate, you have to become good at recognizing which deck to play and when. My pick for the deck of the week is a Questing Adventurer Miracle Rogue. There are a few reasons that I think this is a good choice. Reno Mage is considered one of, if not the strongest decks at the moment, so a lot of the ladder is warped around its existence. So this cuts down on a bit of the aggro you see because Reno Mage does have a very strong matchup against Pirate Warrior and Aggro Shaman, and it's also caused a rise in popularity of Jade Druid. Cutting down on aggro and the rise of druids are two very good things for Miracle Rogue traditionally, but another benefit of the deck is that it has a good matchup against Reno Mage, or about a 50-50 matchup against Reno Mage, but a strong matchup against Reno Warlock. All these factors combine to make Rogue a very strong pick at the moment. So if you're running into a high amount of aggro decks, then Miracle Rogue becomes a lot less desirable. But there are a few additions to the deck list post Mean Streets that help with this weakness. First change is that we're running the Pirate package with patches, as well as two small time Buccaneers and two Swashbucklers. This addition gives the rogue more proactive plays on turn one, as well as making their traditional turn two hero power a lot more effective with the small time Buccaneer. Another change that helps this deck against aggro is a little non intuitive at first, but replacing SI7 agents with questing adventurers really helps the matchup. Intuitively, you'd think that SI7 would be better against aggro because it gives you another high tempo removal tool, but the questing adventurers give you a more reliable win condition, which is racing them down. You set up a questing adventurer on turn 3 or 4 with things like coin, backstab, conceal, all of those things to help buff it up, and then you start putting pressure on them. So they're either forced to use their burn on your minions, or they engage in the race, which you can often win. So this here is the current rogue list I'm working with. I took it from RDU. I believe it's a good fit for the current meta, but you do have to recognize, or you do have to remember, that the circular nature of our current meta means that this deck could quickly go to being unfit. It's all about knowing when to use it and recognizing the right timing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any criticisms, questions, or concerns, let me know in the comments below. See you guys next time.